Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jordan Crouton Moore, and welcome to the very first episode of The Squared Circle. I am so excited to get started, and this has just really been a dream come true. Wrestling, the whole wrestling world is really just a huge passion of mine, and I'm very excited to get to come on and share all this stuff with you guys. So, of course, how this show is going to break down, I've never really explained this before, so I'm going to do it right now. The first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to do news. Things that have come through WWE, through AEW, through the wrestling world. We're going to talk about that stuff and how that applies to this next week in wrestling. Then we're going to talk about previews for the next week's show. And trust me, this week there are a ton of previews that we get to talk about. Then we're going to move on to my notes and what I thought about the previous week's shows, and that's always going to be a great time. And then finally we'll end things off taking some callers, taking some tweets, and of course, loving our lives as we talk about some awesome theories in the world of wrestling. So I'm so excited to get this started, and I think we should just go ahead and go right now. So the first big thing that we have to talk about is WWE and AEW news. One of the biggest and probably one of my favorites is John Morrison's return to In Reaction on television. We don't know for certain which show he is going to be on, which is very, very unfortunate because according to WWE, he can't tell, and assuming that AEW wants to keep some secrets, he's probably not going to tell if he's going there either. So at the end of the day, we don't really know where he's going, but we do know that he is going somewhere, and that is what I like to see. I remember from my childhood watching John Morrison get in the ring and do what he does best. Come out to his intro with those sparks flying behind him, his hand in the air, and then I got to watch him do those awesome stunts at the Royal Rumble in the ring, and he was always one of my favorites, him and Rey Mysterio, and I'm so glad to see him return. Whether it be to WWE or whether it be to AEW, I'm very excited to see him come back as a stronger wrestler after going through multiple indie cycles and I believe ROH. But I'm very excited to see John Morrison return here, and he's actually getting a place in a wrestling retro game, which I think is really awesome. I saw this morning on Twitter, so I'm very excited about everything that has to be going on right now with John Morrison and all that stuff. It's really proven to be awesome, and I'm super excited to see him back. Another big story from WWE is I'm hoping that this is one of the main reasons why Morrison comes to WWE as opposed to AEW. Pyro is back, baby. That makes me so excited because I really, really, really like Pyro. I think Pyro is an awesome addition to pretty much any intro song or any intro in general. I really like the way that he's able to just come out with someone with Pyro, no matter who it be, whether it be Chris Jericho, whether it be Randy Orton, or whoever it may be. The way that they can incorporate Pyro into their intros is something that I absolutely love to see, and I'm so glad that it is back, especially if John Morrison comes back to WWE, because the moment I see those sparks flying from behind him, I'm going to be losing my stuff, man. But I'm so excited to see Pyro come back into the WWE. I think that that's an awesome step up, and they definitely needed that to combat AEW, because although it might sound stupid whenever I say right now that every little thing counts, but trust me, whenever it comes to how great of a wrestling week we're about to get, every last second of it counts tremendously. And I'm so excited to see Pyro coming right on back. Then, of course, the last bit of huge news that we have this week whenever it comes to WWE and AEW is, of course, WWE getting some brand new announced teams for their shows. Right now, Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton are nowhere to be found on their new announced team, so goodbye to them. But so far, these are the announced teams that we have for the shows going in to this week with the season premiere of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. We have the Raw team being Jerry the King Lawler, Vic Joseph, and Dio Madden, someone who used to be on 205 Live. Vic Joseph, of course, filling in a couple of weeks ago, did a fantastic job. And Jerry the King Lawler, of course, he's going to be Jerry the King Lawler. He did this for a long time. He hasn't been prominent in this scene for probably about the last 5 years or so, 5-6 years. But I'm very excited to see this team go into work. And it's going to be a little bit of an inexperienced team whenever it comes to being on these live shows that means so much, especially whenever it comes to the season premiere. But I really have zero doubt in my mind that Vic Joseph and Dio Madden are going to be able to hold their own. We know Jerry the King Lawler is probably going to be just like he used to be on the announced team, because we've seen him back in these reunion episodes calling matches and stuff. But right now, I'm very excited to see how Vic Joseph and Dio Madden are able to kind of step up in ranks whenever it comes to doing this announced team. I'm extremely excited to watch that happen, and that goes down tonight at 7. Unfortunately, I will not be live tweeting it. I've got something I need to do tonight, but I will be tweeting it probably very late, probably about 10, 11 o'clock tonight Central. And also, by the way, I forgot to mention this at the very beginning. If you guys are wanting to tweet at me during the show, tweet at TheSquaredCircle, at SQRDCircle. That's at SQRDCircle, and I will definitely be reading these tweets, responding to the tweets, and I am going to be very excited whenever I get some of these, man. But remember, if you want to tweet at me, go to at SQRDCircle. That's going to be where you need to tweet at. And later on the show, I'll give you the call-in number as well so that you can kind of begin to call in there as well. But besides that, I'm very excited to see this Raw team get to work, but that's not the end of it. We also have a brand new SmackDown team, which is going to be awesome. This, of course, being Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Renee Young, the old Raw team, coming over to Fox, which I think is really interesting, and I'm excited to see them work once again. I think these three really work together pretty well. I think that Renee may have a little bit of a smaller role than she did on Monday Night Raw, considering that she's doing that talk show on FS1, which I think is also just a great idea. To kind of put Renee in that smaller role, because I think Renee is great, but I think Renee is great whenever it comes to smaller dosages of her. I think that Corey and Cole are both great. I think Cole can get a little annoying whenever he's talking over serious moments, but other than that, I really think that these three announcers do a fantastic job, and I know they're going to do a great job on SmackDown being able to carry this WWE into their brand new season. And then finally, we of course have the NXT. It's going to stay the same with Mario Ranallo, Nigel, and Beth Phoenix, and that's just those are the announced teams, and that's all the news we have this week. But it's some pretty important stuff whenever you consider this week of wrestling we're about to have, because seeing these announced teams, seeing that John Morrison could possibly be back this week is insane, and knowing just all of this stuff that WWE and AEW have gone into making this the best wrestling week of all time is impressive and impeccable, because in my opinion, this is going to be the single best week for wrestling in history. Think about this. We're going to get 5 pay-per-views, essentially. 5 of them. That's absolutely absurd and unheard of. Think about that. Raw, NXT, AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite, Friday Night SmackDown, and Hell in a Cell. 5 pay-per-view level shows. That is impeccable, and I'm so excited. And right now, it doesn't matter if you're a WWE fan. It doesn't matter if you're an AEW fan. It doesn't matter if you're an ROH fan. It doesn't matter if you're a TNA fan, because guess what? Right now, it's not a great time to be a single fan of a company. Right now is a great time to be a wrestling fan. And that's what's so amazing about all of this. Right now is the best time to be a wrestling fan in a long time. WWE is finally getting challenged by somebody that might actually be able to make a difference on their performance. This new season, the new deals, NXT going to USA, this is the single best time to be a wrestling fan in history. And I firmly believe that. And I will stand by that. Right now, you're seeing the best of everything that both of these companies have to offer. AEW is going to be fantastic. WWE is going to be fantastic. We already know that stuff. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you prefer one show over the other, because I think everyone's going to end up preferring that one show over the other. I think that the biggest thing right now is just being a fan of both. Being a fan of all of it, supporting all of it. Because think about this. If you're a WWE fan and you won't give AEW a chance, then what are you? You're single-headed. You need to give everything a chance, because right now is the time to be a wrestling fan. And that is what is most exciting about this week. 5 pay-per-view shows, and my goodness, am I going to watch every single second of them. But now that we're done with the news, let's go ahead and jump into our previews that we have for the next week. These, of course, being matches and my predictions on who's going to win these matches before they even happen. So let's go ahead and jump into AEW's first ever confirmed card for their show. The first match that we have here is Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara, and this is going to be a really good match to kick off AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite. This is already confirmed to be the very first match in AEW television history, and man, is this going to be a great match. Both of these guys are fantastic wrestlers, but in my opinion, this is a Rhodes win 1,000,000%. I don't think right now you're going to take the person who is supposedly going to be the face of your company heading forward and you're going to have him lose that match. I really feel like at the end of the day, this is just going to be a wonderful, wonderful time for Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara and for AEW to kind of show what they're made of. This is a great match to start off the card with, and I'm very excited for it. Of course, I'm sure we'll probably have a giant AEW lineup right before this match where they're kind of like, oh yeah, thank you. Maybe someone will hit a chair with a sledgehammer or something, but I really feel like this is going to be a great match, and I really feel like Sammy is going to be a great wrestler of the future. He's very, very young. He's a wonderful, wonderful wrestler, and I really think that he's got a bright future ahead of him, but I think that 100% this is Cody Rhodes' match to win, and I just don't really see Rhodes losing this match, unfortunately, but the next one that we have that's confirmed is the Women's Championship match, the AEW Women's Champions match between Rio and Nyla Rose. I think that this might be one of the easiest matches to predict tonight, just because I feel like Nyla Rose has to win this match. You look at the history that Nyla Rose has been able to do, and you see how much they've been pushing Nyla Rose through these pay-per-views, showing, hey, look, she's the real deal. She's one of the best. Being the first ever transgender wrestler and all these different things, I think this is Rose's match to win, simply because of the fact that I just believe that because of all the influence that she's had on the wrestling world and on the wrestling community as a whole, there's no way that Nyla Rose loses this match. I think Nyla Rose is a fantastic wrestler, but I think more than anything that she has to win this match for AEW. I think having that first ever transgender champion is going to draw in so many more people and kind of an untapped market, if you will, in the wrestling world. And I think having that to show off, that's going to go viral. That's going to go huge. ESPN is going to share that. Bleacher Report's going to share that. Everyone's going to share that, and everyone's going to start tuning into AEW. And I think that that is one of the single most important things that AEW has to do tonight. While I think it is the easiest to call, I also think that it is the essential one that you need to have. Because out of any of them, it's going to be this match that draws in the new people. Simply because of the implications that are on this match. The next one we have is Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Chris Jericho and two mystery opponents. This is going to be a really interesting match, I feel, because we don't know who the mystery opponents are. And of course, right now, this is probably the most star-studded match that they have on AEW right now. I just feel like Omega and the Young Bucks and Jericho and two mystery partners, one of which is possibly going to be Jon Moxley. Probably not, because I know he's kind of dealing with an injury. But, I mean, hey, that would be awesome to see even just a small amount, because we know we're going to see Moxley tonight. By God, we know we're going to see Moxley. But right now, I'm just super excited for this match. I think it's going to be a fantastic time. And this is going to be some huge star power, no matter who those last two will be. It could be Moxley. It could be Morrison coming back like I talked about in the intro. And I just don't really see Jericho losing this match. So I think that Omega is unfortunately going to take another loss, and the Young Bucks are as well. But I don't see Jericho losing this match, especially since AEW's made it such a big priority that wins and losses definitely matter. I just don't see Jericho going down in this match, especially being the champion. And, he's the champion right now, and at the end of the day, we just kind of have to respect that, and we have to know that Jericho is just not going to go down to these three, no matter how much fun this match is going to be, because I think that this will probably be one of the best matches of the night. Because of just all the star power and the people that we know that are in this match. And if we get Morrison involved and we get Moxley involved, I think that this is going to be one of the best matches that we see tonight and maybe all year. However, the next match that we have here is probably going to be the one that's going to give it the most competition, because I feel like this match could be amazing, just because I really feel like these two people could win the belt and no one would be mad at off Jericho. And that's Adam Hangman Page versus Pac. or Pac, my bad. And I feel like this is going to be such a good match because Hangman Page is extremely underrated. He showed that in his match versus Jericho, and that was a fantastic match. And Pac, we all know what he can do. He is an amazing wrestler, an amazing heel, an amazing face. It doesn't matter where you put him, he's going to kill the game. And that's the bottom line. And I'm really excited to see this match. I really feel like this is Pac's match to win, though, just simply because, like I said before about Jericho, wins and losses matter, and Pac is coming off that incredible match with Kenny Omega at All Out, and I don't feel like Pac is going to lose this match, and he's going to keep that momentum, and I have a feeling that he will be probably the next person to challenge Chris Jericho for that championship, and I think that's going to be an amazing match because Jericho is awesome, Pac is amazing. We've seen them do some matches in the past in WWE, but I'm very excited to see what these two are able to bring to the table, especially on Wednesday nights. I think these guys are going to be pretty much amazing, and I really feel like this is going to be one of the best matches of the night. It's either going to be that one or the Jericho and Omega and Young Bucks match, just because we don't know who the last two are, but I really feel like that's going to be a beautiful match. And the last confirmed match that we have for AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite is going to be MJF versus Brandon Cutler. Man, I love MJF. I love him. I love his character. I think he's such an amazing heel. He's so good at playing that rich, pompous jerk, and I love it so much, and I am just so excited to see this match because I know MJF is going to come out and he's going to cut a promo, and that makes me jump on the inside. I love MJF. I don't know if I've said that yet, but I love MJF, and I'm telling you right now, man, this is going to be a pretty good story because, of course, Cutler being the feel-good story, being the guy that got picked up by AEW both inside and outside of the ring, and I feel like this is just going to be a fun little time for MJF to kind of come out and ridicule Cutler in the most absurd way possible, and for Cutler to bite back and MJF to get mad and come in and get the win. I really feel like MJF will probably win this match because he's a part of course, Codes' like Little Rhodes Brotherhood type group and one of Cody's kids. So I really don't feel like MJF loses this match. If I'm going to be honest, but I feel like this will probably be earlier on in the card, not later on, because I really feel like the last match of the card is probably going to be Omega and the Young Bucks versus Jericho and the two mystery opponents, or the Nyla Rose versus Rio match, just because that one's for a championship. So I really feel like those are going to be the last two, and I'm very excited to see what these guys have to offer because, man, that's going to be an amazing show. And then one last thing I think we have to mention is, I mentioned it a little bit before, but whether or not he's wrestling in a match, Moxley has to appear. He just has to whenever it comes to this. And I think that that's so spectacular because Moxley is going to be one of the best people that AEW has on the roster. Both whenever it comes to cutting promos, because he was the best promo cutter in the Shield, either him or Seth Rollins. And Moxley just being able to go get a fresh start with a new company is going to be fantastic for his career and for his character in general. And I really think that Moxley is going to have some kind of a role on Wednesday Night Dynamite. I don't know what exactly the role will be, but I know that he will definitely have one. I'm very excited to watch this happen as well. And I really think that Moxley will come out, maybe attack somebody like Kenny Omega, maybe Jericho, maybe someone like that. But I'm very excited to see Moxley come back. So that's all the confirmed matches that we have for AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite. So now we're going to jump over to the SmackDown confirmed matches. This, of course, for the first Friday. And the first one that we have is Kevin Owens versus Shane in a ladder match for their careers. And I really feel like this has to be a KO win. I don't think it makes any sense for WWE to make Kevin Owens lose, but I've seen crazier things from WWE. Don't get me wrong. I've seen crazier things, but I feel like this is definitely KO's match to win, just because of the fact that KO has been on fire the last few months. He loses these matches to Shane, which really makes me mad because I feel like KO should have already put this guy out of business. But I really feel like this is his match to win. This is a great way to get Shane off of television for at least a few months, if not a few years, which is what I'm praying it to be, because I'm not a fan of seeing Shane McMahon on WWE TV every single week, but I do know one thing, and that's that this match has to go in favor of KO if WWE wants to keep their audiences engaged. Because I think right now you have to win this match for KO and push him. Push him to the freaking stars. Because KO is an amazing wrestler, an amazing promo cutter, and just one of the best we've seen in the business in a long, long time. And I really like Kevin Owens right now. And, I've always really liked Kevin Owens. He's always been one of my favorites. I think he's extremely underrated, mostly because of the injury, so people kind of forget about him a little bit. But I really think that KO is one of the most underrated on the mic. I really think that him and The Miz have had some really great exchanges, and that's saying a lot because I think that The Miz is personally one of the best on the mic in the WWE right now. And I really like every single time that I get to see Kevin Owens come out on that stage because it just makes me extremely excited. I'm ready to see him go and hopefully beat Shane McMahon on the first SmackDown on Fox. Next up, we have Roman Reigns versus Rowan. And man, if this is anything like the Daniel Bryan match versus Rowan last week, this is going to be fantastic. Because Roman Reigns, I think, is a very, very good wrestler. After he's come back from fighting with leukemia, I really think everyone's kind of given him that extra chance, saying your character was stale, but you were gone for a few months, so now we can support you again. And I really like that they've been able to do that, that the WWE crowd has been able to do that, because I think that has been one of the single most impactful and important things that's happened so far this year. And I think Roman Reigns coming back, this whole storyline starting to get tied together with a bow on top, with Rowan and Harper being on top, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan being on bottom. Obviously, that's going to lead to a fantastic match that'll probably end up happening at SummerSlam, Hell in a Cell, my bad, being official on Friday. But I really feel like this is going to be a fantastic match on its own, because I really think that Rowan has kind of had his chance to shine. And I'll talk about that a little bit later whenever we get to recapping what happened on Tuesday Night SmackDown later on in the show. But I really do think that Rowan is going to be one of the best on SmackDown for a long time. And it's really cool because I was kind of noticing this the other night. But do you remember whenever the Wyatt family kind of like had that big reckoning where they brought in Braun Strowman and it was Rowan and Harper and Bray? And now you look at those guys and what's going on? Harper and Rowan are a part of a huge storyline on SmackDown, and Braun and Bray are a part of a huge storyline on Raw. That is so cool to me, that all four members of the Wyatt family are now elevated, even though they're separated, because Braun and Bray are not together. Of course, Rowan and Harper may be together, but Braun and Bray are not together. But seeing all four of them rise to the occasion, up to the top of the ranks in WWE, was so surreal for me, because I thought that the Bray Wyatt, the whole beautiful faction, the Wyatt family, was really cool. It's great to see these guys succeeding as singles competitors, and especially Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, and Rowan. I don't really know what Harper is going to do quite yet. He hasn't actually been in a match since he's been back. He's just kind of helped out Rowan, but I'm sure we'll probably see him get into a match in the near future. The next match that we have confirmed for SmackDown is Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair versus Bayley and Sasha Banks. I am very excited for this match. The Four Horsewomen always put on a fantastic show whenever they get together, and man, I'm really just excited for this match. It's gonna be a good match. That's all I have to say about it, man. These four are the horsewomen for a reason. I mean, Becky Lynch is an amazing on the mic. She's amazing in the ring. Same for Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, and Bayley is Bayley, and I love Bayley. And I'm just really excited to see this match go down, man. The Boston Hug connection, of course. And this kind of leads me to something that I kind of wanted to bring up a little bit, and that's just Bayley's character as a whole. I really like heel Bayley. I think she has a chance to maybe get stale, but I really think that WWE is going to head the right direction with her character. And at the bottom line, I really think that heel Bayley has great probability if she would get rid of the whole hugging thing. I think that is ridiculous for a heel. I really do, but, you know, I really like Bayley, I really like Charlotte, I really like Sasha, and I really like Becky, so I really think that this match is going to perform. It's going to perform amazing, so I'm very excited for this match, and I'm sure it'll probably end up stealing the show away, just like all of us think so. And then the last confirmed match for SmackDown so far, of course, if any more matches do get confirmed for any of these shows, I will be tweeting them out live, so you guys can kind of see that, and we're going to be rocking and rolling with Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston. Man, I really think that this is going to be one of the coolest matches on SmackDown, especially if Pyro's back. But I really like both of these wrestlers. But I really feel like this is Brock's match to win. I really like Kofi, but I feel like his character's gotten a little stale. I know a lot of people have kind of been saying, oh no, you can't take the belt off Kofi, but I think you can at this point. I really feel like you can take the belt off of Kofi. And I feel like that's what WWE's going to do if they have the right mind. Because I can tell you right now, what's going to be best for business, whether you like it or not, is Brock Lesnar holding that SmackDown championship on Fox. Because the bottom line is that Fox wants Bray. But who wouldn't want Bray right now, you know? So if you're not going to get Bray, you've got to get Brock. You've got to go out and you've got to get those star power people that are going to draw people. And Brock is going to draw people. Brock is a fantastic wrestler, and I have no doubt that he's going to sell for Kofi. And I have no doubt that this is going to be a fantastic match full of a lot of flying from Kofi, a lot of beatdowns from Brock, and ultimately going to end with Brock Lesnar holding that belt above his head to send this show packing on Friday. And so far, this is really looking like a great show. I mean, SmackDown has the probability to be one of the best we've seen in a long time on Fox. Although last week's SmackDown, I think, was fantastic. I really didn't see too much wrong with last week's SmackDown. Maybe 2 or 3 bad segments, but everything else was amazing last week. But we'll get to that here in a few seconds. I am very, very excited for SmackDown this week, looking into the preview, seeing all of this stuff that's going to be going down, and knowing that WWE is going to give us the best that they can do. And that is what makes me extremely excited. So the next confirmed card that we have here is we have the NXT confirmed card so far. And right now they only have one match confirmed, but I can almost guarantee you that's going to change as the week unfolds. We'll probably get in a couple matches, maybe even today, tomorrow, before NXT even goes live. But the only one that we have right now is going to be a showstopper, and really one that I feel is probably going to be one of, if not the best match that we see all week long. And that is Adam Cole versus Matt Riddle. Oh my gosh, man. This match is going to be amazing. I love both of these guys. I think Adam Cole is the future of WWE, and I think Matt Riddle is an amazing superstar. And this makes me so excited to see that this match is going to be on a regular Wednesday night episode of NXT. This is a takeover level match that we are seeing on a regular weekly show. That is insane to me. Absolutely insane. But I'm very, very excited that right now we can look at what we have for NXT. And that's one match and think, oh my God, that show's gonna be amazing. We can do that from one match because we see Adam Cole versus Matt Riddle and our ears perk up as wrestling fans. You know, these two are fantastic wrestlers. And I cannot wait to see them collide very, very soon. As a matter of fact, in just 2 days, we're going to be able to see them collide on NXT. And now we've kind of got done with the previews. The last thing I want to talk about before we move on to kind of what I thought about the shows from last week is I just want to kind of reflect on which show I'm going to be watching on Wednesday night. And I'm going to let you in on my whole thought process on this. And here's the thing. Both shows that are going to be going on Wednesday night are going to be amazing. Think about that for a second. NXT, we have one match confirmed. And it's going to be amazing. Maybe the best match of the week. AEW, we have several matches confirmed. But think about this. And this shows true to the testament of NXT as a whole. The fact that because of one match, we are even thinking about watching NXT before we watch AEW is insane. And that just shows you the level of talent that NXT has. That being said, I will be tuning in to AEW before I tune into NXT. I will be watching AEW whenever it goes live, and I'll be watching NXT later on, recorded after it goes live. And that's the bottom line. I really like what AEW is going to bring to the table. And I really feel like NXT is going to be amazing as well. But the bottom line is, my curiosity up in my brain is going insane listening to what we can see through NXT and AEW. My curiosity is creeping towards AEW. Think about this. As a casual wrestling fan, we have seen maybe 2 whole AEW shows. 2. And that's it. But think about this. This curiosity is going to be the thing that drives WWE fans away from NXT on Wednesday. Because they say, you know what? I haven't wanted to pay $60. But now I can watch AEW for free. I want to go give that a chance. It's not going to be like the old Monday Night Wars where you're flipping between the two. Instead, we're just going to record it and we're going to watch it later. We're going to watch it back on the WWE Network later on in the week. With so many options on how to watch NXT after it goes live, I think we have to watch AEW first if you're a wrestling fan. Just because of your curiosity. If you are a WWE only fan, then yes, watch NXT first. Watch NXT and don't watch AEW. But I'm telling you right now, if you are a wrestling fan, you're going to want to tune in to Wednesday Night Dynamite brought to you by AEW. So of course that means that my show watching will go Monday Night Raw tonight at 7. AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite. Then NXT immediately following that. And then finally, we're going to watch SmackDown on Fridays on Fox at their new start time, which is a little weird, at 6:30. But we will definitely be looking into those, and I'm very excited for this whole week of wrestling. I like to say this one more time, then I'm going to kind of be off of it for probably about the next hour or so. But this is going to be the single best wrestling week we've ever seen, at least in this current generation. And I think that's a testament to all 2 of these brands. And that's crazy. Because not only is WWE and AEW getting their deals, and they're going to do an amazing job, but TNA is also coming back. They're still going to be on Twitch. You can watch ROA pretty much anywhere. Live stream on YouTube, it doesn't matter. And that's the bottom line. If you want to watch a ton of wrestling this week, then you go watch a ton of wrestling this week. Because this is going to be a prime time to be a wrestling fan. And that's the last time I'm going to say that. And that being said, that is the end of the previews, the end of the news, which means it's time to get to my reviews for the last week in wrestling. Man, this is going to be exciting. I'm very excited to kind of get into this just because I feel like these shows last week were so amazing. I felt like Raw didn't have very many dull moments. I feel like SmackDown didn't have very many dull moments. And I really think NXT didn't have but maybe one dull moment in the entire show, which is kind of insane because I really think this week that even though we're going to see these pay-per-view shows, there's always going to be a dull moment in a pay-per-view. And that's just the bottom line. And at the end of the day, I am so ready to see WWE come out with their arms swinging, AEW to come out with their arms swinging. It's going to be a great time. But last week in wrestling was fantastic as well. Wrapping up everything in the season, and then of course getting to the brand new shows, the new logos, the new intros, probably the new all that stuff. And I'm very, very excited to see all this stuff unfold. But let's go ahead and kick things off last week with WWE Monday Night Raw. This is the final Raw of their current season. Of course, tonight starts the brand new season on USA. I'm very excited for that. But it started off with a tremendous Seth Rollins promo. I think Seth Rollins throughout his championship reign has gotten better, then a little bit worse, and then a whole lot better on the mic. I really feel like Seth has done a fantastic job this run on the mic, and I feel like he's kind of needed to. He's kind of had that on his back, and I really was impressed with what Seth has been able to do. But he comes out with an amazing promo talking about Bray Wyatt and about how scared he was of Bray Wyatt. And it ends off with Braun coming out and kind of talking about how he said that Seth was scared of him. And, I mean, I would be scared of Braun Strowman too. Like, I'm going to be honest, if he were to walk in the studio right now where I'm recording this, I would be like, whoa, man, you need to get out, man. What do you think you're doing in here? And if he tried to chokeslam me, I'd just die. Like, I'd go down. Like, I'd be scared of Braun Strowman too. But the main thing is that Seth kind of came out and was like, I'm not scared of you. I'm just glad I don't have to fight you. And I'm like, doesn't that mean that you're scared of him? But that's not the point here. And we're kind of getting to this, but this would later on to go and be a challenge to Seth later on in the night. And oh my gosh, a challenge it was. Then up we had a fantastic match between the OC and the Viking Raiders. Man, I really like what WWE has going on right now with OC and the Viking Raiders. I really like the Viking Raiders. I think that they are a fantastic team. I think they can wrestle like crazy. I really do. I think they can wrestle out of their minds. I think the OC can wrestle out of their minds. So whenever you put two teams that have great chemistry and can both wrestle out of their minds together in a match, what happens? It gets amazing. That's what happens. And you know what? I really like having that happen. Because I have a huge suspicion that this is not the last time we see the OC versus the Viking Raiders. I really don't. And, I really like these two teams in a match. I like the way it turned out, too, with Viking Raiders getting the win. AJ Styles getting thrown out from ringside was also pretty funny. But I think AJ Styles, and I'm going to kind of talk about this because I didn't write it down in the book, but AJ Styles and the OC had a great promo down in the back. And I really feel like that was amazing. I really feel like AJ Styles has gotten so much better on the mic with his run with WWE than he was ever before. I love AJ Styles. I think that what he was saying about those cruiserweights being like, why do all these guys want to challenge me? They're so much smaller than me. So what if they're faster? I'm stronger. That stuff, man, I really like the way that AJ Styles is really clinging on to this. And I really think that holds true to the Testament because, of course, we have Cedric Alexander versus AJ Styles confirmed for Monday night, which I think is going to be pretty awesome. We also have some more confirmed matches for Raw. I just realized I didn't give to them, but I'll kind of mention them through the rest of my notes here because they kind of go off of what we've seen. And I'm really excited to see this match on Raw. I think that this is definitely going to be AJ's win. I don't think they're going to give Cedric Alexander the belt. I don't really think Cedric Alexander has done enough to prove that he deserves the belt yet. He's had one match with AJ Styles, one match in the last couple of weeks. And I think if anyone deserves a shot at the United States Championship, it's going to be Chad Gable. Because I love Chad Gable. Like, he has had such good matches in this King of the Ring tournament that, like, I have re-fallen in love with Chad Gable. And that's amazing to me. Because Chad Gable's amazing. And it makes me so happy to see him succeeding. And it just blows my mind that we haven't been introduced to how amazing Chad Gable was before this time. But I really feel like if anyone's going to challenge AJ Styles for that championship and maybe even win it, it's going to be Chad Gable. And I really feel like they just need to give the belt to Chad. Because I feel like he's been showing that he can and he will be able to perform both on the mic and in the ring beautifully. And I love that about these guys. About everybody that WWE has been showing off in the last couple of weeks. And that's that they can perform both on the mic and in the ring. And those are the kinds of people that WWE brings. Those are the kinds of people that every wrestling company brings. The guys that are amazing both on the mic and in the ring. But right now, I think one of the best wrestlers I've seen in a long time is Chad Gable. And I think we'll kind of get to this a little bit later, but I think another reason that Chad Gable has had such success with Baron Corbin is because of how good Baron Corbin is. I think he's extremely underrated, but we'll get to that a little bit later, and we'll move on to our next match, which was it actually wasn't a match, it was a sit-down with Becky Lynch with Michael Cole, and, I really think that Becky did everything she needed to do in this promo. I think that Becky is a fantastic on the mic wrestler. I think that's part of the reason why she has become so popular. Is yes, she's good in the ring. Yes, she can perform in the ring, but her mic skills and her selling abilities, like in kayfabe, are so amazing. Becky is one of the best that we've seen in the WWE in a long time, and definitely one of the best divas we've ever seen on the mic, either her or Alexa Bliss, my bad. And I really feel like Becky did a fantastic job selling her match with Sasha during this segment with Michael Cole. I really feel like she did. And that made me get ready, and that made me want to go and watch it, you know? That's what it did. It made me want to go watch it. And that's exactly what I'm going to end up doing. I'm going to go and I'm going to watch that match at Hell in a Cell, and it's going to be great. And I know Becky is going to have an insane match with Sasha. Hopefully, Sasha wins this match. Huge Sasha fan. Love Sasha Banks. But we'll see what happens. I'm so excited for that match, and I think this did everything it needed to do to put hype for that situation. Next up was a squash match, and this one really pissed me off. This was Rusev versus EC3. And I'll tell you what. I'm glad they're finally putting Rusev back on television, you know? And hopefully they'll just forget about this whole Kanellis thing, because that was absolutely ridiculous, and I hated that more than anything in my whole life. But here's the thing. I am so tired of them squashing EC3, man. I love EC3. I love him. And them squashing my boy is not doing anything. I love EC3, man. I think he's a fantastic wrestler, whether it be in the ring. He's amazing with his character. He's an amazing profiler. I love EC3, and he is being tarnished. I hope wherever he goes with this brand split, send him back down to NXT. You know? Send this person back down to NXT, my bad. Send him back down. Send him. Buddy Murphy. Those guys that you just keep squashing, send some tag teams down there. Send the B team. Send Ryder and Hawkins. Send those guys that you're squashing. Send them all down to NXT. Add those to the story. Because right now there really aren't that many tag teams, and I'll get to that a little bit later, that can challenge anybody for the belt. But I really think you need to take these underutilized people, these EC3s, these tag teams, these Buddy Murphys, that we know can wrestle, and we know their name, and send them back down. And at this point, you're not even sending them back down. At this point, it's all on the same level. It's all on TV. It's all got really good stories. All three of them do. So send this guy that you're not giving any time on regular TV. Send him to NXT, where he can flourish. Do what you did with Breezango. We'll get to that a little bit later, but Breezango looked amazing on NXT last week. Do the same thing with EC3, with Hawkins and Ryder, with all these guys. Do it again. What's the worst that could happen? You know? Anyway, after I get out of that rant, we're going to get over to the 24/7 Championship. Man, I love the 24/7 Championship. I think the belt looks absolutely stupid, but I think that all of the ideas are stupid, but in the single best way possible. Everyone chasing out R-Truth. Carmella grabbing the mic. All of them standing around the ring. Carmella's like, dog, I need to stop chasing you around. It's so exhausting. And then pinning R-Truth herself. That was genius. Absolutely genius. I love the 24/7 Championship. I think this whole thing is gold. I think that giving people like R-Truth and Drake Maverick and EC3 this creative control over this belt has been amazing. Because it's led to some crazy stuff. And I gotta say, even whenever WWE is in a dark spot, whenever they revealed this 24/7 Championship, it gave me something to look forward to during the week. I'd go on Twitter, see Jinder Mahal roll up R-Truth outside of a plane. And then we'd go to inside the plane, and R-Truth wins the belt from Jinder Mahal, and then he hides in the bathroom for the rest of the flight. You know? I really like this belt. I think it looks disgusting. But I think other than that, it's a fantastic belt. It's been one of the most intriguing things on WWE television currently. And I love it to death. But I really think giving Carmella the belt was an interesting decision. I don't know how long this is going to be on Carmella for. I don't know if this is like a permanent thing to get some divas involved, or if this is like a thing that's just going to last a few weeks, maybe even just a week before everything kind of gets moved over a little bit. But I really am excited to see what exactly is going to happen with this 24/7 belt, because I really just like the 24/7 championship. I think that is a genius strategy. And this makes me really excited for the future of the 24/7 championship. But the next one that we had was Banks and Cross versus Moon and Evans. I'm going to put these together. These were two separate matches. Sasha Banks and Nikki Cross, and Ember Moon and Lacey Evans. But I'm going to put these in the same thing because I feel like they established the same purpose. And because I'm a little concerned with kind of running over and not having enough time to talk about just like the theories and stuff that I have. But I feel like these matches did the same thing. They proved that Banks was definitely a heel and was definitely going to give Becky a hard time. And it proved that Evans was definitely a heel and definitely going to give Natty a hard time. And that's kind of the bottom line of it. And this kind of leads me to another thing that's confirmed this week, and that is Bliss and Banks. Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks are going to be confirmed for Raw, or already confirmed and going to be happening tonight. So that's very exciting to see. I really, really like both of those wrestlers. I think that they are both fantastic on the mic. I think Bliss is probably one of the best divas on the mic, period. I wouldn't say as far as in history yet, but I really feel like she is an amazing diva on the mic. And I feel like these two are going to have a good match because they always do. Back whenever they fought in that rivalry, they had a fantastic match. So I feel like this is going to be a great match to get started on. But, I mean, I really feel like those right there were just pretty much doing what they needed to do by establishing Lacey as a big threat and establishing Banks as a big threat. Of course, that also, the Banks and Cross match, of course, does kind of go to the overall storyline of eventually putting Bayley and Sasha versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. So it goes to that with them becoming the champions eventually. But other than that, I mean, that match just pretty much did what it needed to do. And yeah, it was just a good time. The next thing that came up was the Firefly Funhouse. Oh my gosh, this was such a good Firefly Funhouse, man. We're going to talk a little bit about Bray later on in the show whenever I start talking about my theories and stuff, because I have a huge theory whenever it comes to Bray Wyatt. But I really feel like this Firefly Funhouse was amazing. It did everything it needed to do. That sharing is caring thing scared the crap out of me, man. Bray scares me. Like, he legitimately scares me. Like, I can't do scary movies, so, like, I know I'm a little bit of a weenie, but, like, at the same time, Bray scares me. You know? That's how good of an actor Bray is. That's how good of a portrayal he's doing of this scary demon character. Bray is doing a fantastic job on WWE television. He is the single best thing in wrestling right now, no doubt. As I was doing that, I was toggling my hands and I almost karate chopped the mic. That's how excited I am about Bray Wyatt. Because he's fantastic. I really feel like Bray Wyatt has the chance to be the single leading force for WWE. And I feel like this weekend, whenever Bray battles for the Universal Championship, I feel like Bray is going to kill him. Like, legitimately rip his heart out. That's how scared I am of Bray. And this Firefly Funhouse did exactly what it needed to do. Bray did a fantastic job this week on Firefly Funhouse. Bray has done a fantastic job through everything. Most importantly, I think I'm just ready to see that stinking intro again at Hell in a Cell. But that match is going to be insane. I'm so excited to see it. So excited. Because I know Bray's going to win that match. And I know Bray is going to stay champion for a long, long time. And that makes me so excited. Because Bray Wyatt is the single best thing in WWE right now. And I do not feel like WWE can ruin this opportunity. By having Seth win at Hell in a Cell, you are diminishing everything you've done with Bray Wyatt. Everything. There is absolutely no reason why Bray Wyatt should lose this match to Seth Rollins. And I have confidence that WWE is going to do the right thing and put that belt on Bray. Because that's what they need to do. Bray's the face of their company right now. And I really feel like anything could happen in this match, and I would not be surprised. But we're going to talk about another theory that I think could possibly happen whenever it comes to Bray and Seth this weekend at Hell in a Cell a little bit later, and I feel like it's one of the more entertaining things. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was Gable versus Corbin. Man, these guys are amazing. I mean, they're just so good. I don't have anything else to say, man. These guys can just wrestle their butts off, man. They are so good with each other. You know? These guys are fantastic. I love it. Bray and Gable are amazing. Not Bray, my bad. Baron and Gable are amazing. But I think that not only is Gable a fantastic wrestler, but I think people are taking away from Corbin. I think the only reason why Corbin is not a more appreciated wrestler than he actually is because he was shoved so religiously down our throats for months with that Seth and Becky thing. For months. I think that's the only reason people don't like Baron, though. Because I think if you really look at what Baron has been able to do, I think that you will see an amazing wrestler. Because we all hate Baron Corbin. And if we all hate Baron Corbin, does that not show a testament to how good of a job he's doing? Because he is. He's doing a fantastic job with himself. And I love it so much. Baron is fantastic. Fantastic. And since we all hate him so much, that just proves how good of a heel he truthfully is. And I'm excited to see these two continue because they have such great chemistry. They have such great matches. That King of the Ring Finals match was great. The one on SmackDown was great. The one on Raw was great. The one anywhere is great. So these two, of course, are going to have more matches. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another one this week on Raw and SmackDown. But I really, really do like Baron and Gable. I think these two are amazing guys, and I'm ready to see them go at it again. So the next thing that we have coming up here is, of course, going to be the Fatal 5-Way match. Man, this was such a fun match to watch. It was never boring. They kept me on my toes the entire time. You know, they really did. This match between Robert Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Mysterio, Ricochet, and AJ Styles never got me bored. I loved every last second of it. I thought it was amazing. And speaking of some of these guys, we of course do have Robert Roode and Ziggler versus Heavy Machinery confirmed for Raw, which I think is interesting because Heavy Machinery's always been a brand that's stayed on SmackDown, which I think is interesting. But right now we do of course have this Fatal 5-Way. I just wanted to break off and tell you about that since I forgot to go over the confirmed card for Raw. But we do have, of course, Robert Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Mysterio, Ricochet, and AJ Styles in this match in the Fatal 5-Way. Man, this match was so good. I was kept on my toes the entire time. There were some amazing falls. Ricochet had some amazing spots. Mysterio had some great, crazy spots. Everyone just had really good spots. That Kinshasa that Shinsuke hit on Ricochet was amazing. And I really just feel like this was a great match. One that kept me on my toes, one that I definitely like the outcome of, seeing as how I'm a huge Rey Mysterio fan, as he was able to come out with the win. But I really feel like AEW did a fantastic job doing all that stuff. You know? I really, 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 really enjoyed this whole match. And I can't say that enough, because that's a testament to how good these 5 people are. You have so many champions in this match. And even the ones who aren't the champions, Rey Mysterio and Ricochet, who are the smaller guys, are able to put on a champion-like performance is a testament to how good they are. Of course, from the beginning, I could have told you that Rey Mysterio was going to win this match because of how much pushing they've done to Rey and his character almost retiring and coming back and getting this chance for the Universal Championship on the season premiere of Raw. This has happened to Rey Mysterio before. Think about that. One time, Rey Mysterio won that challenge whenever Finn Balor had to get rid of his championship. Rey Mysterio won that. That be it was for like a day. But Rey won it. And that was awesome to see. Of course, this one, I think the only chance that Rey Mysterio has is a 100% chance to get mandible clawed by Bray Wyatt. This match is still going to perform. And heck, maybe we see this be a full match. I doubt it. I can almost guarantee you Bray's going to get involved. But there's always a chance. But I'm very, very excited to see this match between Seth and Rey next week. Or actually tonight, not even next week. I keep thinking that I'm doing this after Raw was shot, but I'm not. This is tonight, man. We're seeing Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins go at it tonight. But then we come to our main event of Raw, and that, of course, being Rollins versus Strowman. And really the only thing I want to say about this is that Bray Wyatt is a genius. And think about how much they just did to this guy's character. They just said, you know what? You did a fantastic job the last couple of weeks taking down these legends, taking down these great people. Bray, you have. And you know what we're going to do for you? We're going to let you take down some guy that Seth has struggled with in the last couple of weeks. We're going to let you take him down. What does that do for Bray's character? Elevates it. What does it do for Seth being scared? Man, he should be scared out of his mind. He should be crapping himself scared. That's how Seth should be. That you struggled so much with Braun Strowman. Clash of Champions, that Monday Night Raw, you were about to lose. You were up on Braun's shoulder. About to get power slammed in the mat. You were going to lose. And what happens? Bray saved you that loss. But at the same time, Bray scared me. He scared me. I know listening to Busted Open that Mark Henry is scared of Bray Wyatt. Well, Mark, you have a reason to be after what we saw last week. I'd be scared of Bray Wyatt. Imagine if you were Seth Rollins. I'd be peeing on myself. Bray is scary. And that just shows a testament to what they've been able to do with themselves. And that's the bottom line. I really like what they've been able to do with Bray's character, and I really feel like it's going to carry over. But now we get into our second show of the week, NXT, and man, this show was great. I really had no problems with NXT, and I'm going to kind of speed through this one a little bit because I really feel like NXT was just a fantastic show this week. Of course, the first match we had was Keith Lee versus Dominic, and oh my god, man, this match was so good. Keith Lee is so good. He's so underrated. This was just a battle of the big men, and I really feel like these two have mastered it. Because the first match they had was amazing. The second match they had was amazing. And I really feel like they've mastered this art of big men fighting. And I hope that we'll see a part 3 of this series. Maybe tonight, maybe at TakeOver, maybe some other time. But I really feel like we have to see a part 3 of this match series because Lee and Dominic are so good together. And that just made me so excited. But the next match that we had on NXT was Dakota Kai versus Tanara Conti, I believe. I don't remember how to pronounce her name necessarily. But Dakota Kai, great to see her back in action. Nice to see her get a win. And that was just what that was supposed to do. That was supposed to bring Dakota Kai back in. It was pretty much a squash match, but it really allowed Dakota Kai to kind of show off what she was good for. I don't feel like she necessarily sent the best message, but I feel like she did a great job, nevertheless, kind of explaining what she is and what she stands for. And then, of course, we had the number 1 contenders match, which was a street fight between Matt Riddle and Killian Dane, and oh my god! This match was the best of the week. The Raw talent proves in this match between Matt Riddle and Killian Dane how amazing both of these wrestlers are. That proves it. These guys had a fantastic match, and I can almost guarantee you that they will have more than one fantastic match in their WWE career. This was the perfect match to end that first hour of NXT on. And I really feel like this was kind of a testament to how good NXT is going to end up being. Because these two put on the match of a century. And if that's good, think about how good this week's match between Adam Cole and Matt Riddle is going to be. Because I love Killian Dane. But I really feel, and I really know, that Adam Cole and Matt Riddle are going to put on one of the best matches we can see in WWE today. And I really feel like this built Riddle as a star. With that tap out in the middle of the ring, this built Riddle as someone that you need to watch out for. And I feel like that's what NXT needs to compete with AEW. They need those guys that feel like stars. And I really feel like that's what they did with Matt Riddle. They made him that star. That's exactly what they did. And I absolutely adored this match completely. The next match we had here was Rhea Ripley versus Kaden Carter. I mean, this was just a good match for both women to show off what they're made of. Of course, this sees Rhea Ripley taking the win at the very end because, of course, she's the next up in line, probably for Shayna Baszler. But both of these women are fantastic wrestlers. I really feel like this match showed off both Carter and Ripley as amazing competitors and top-of-the-line women. I really wouldn't be surprised if they show Kaden Carter going up and kind of showing Shayna Baszler what she's made of whenever Ripley probably loses to Baszler sometime in the next couple of weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if that match was kind of made official sometime this week, and it happens on Wednesday, trying to get that star-studded show together. But this was just an amazing showcase for both women. I really feel like they really showed off what they were made of, and I really liked every last second of it. And I really feel like this made these two feel important. Because I don't feel like there are a lot of divas that are going to be able to step up and take that belt from Shayna Baszler. I really don't think that there are that many that can step up and take it. Which I think is interesting. Because I know how good these guys are. I know that they're going to do a fantastic job. But at the end of the day, there's really not that many divas that could step up and take that off. Which is why I think we need to see some main roster divas come down to NXT. We need to see the Dana Brooks. We need to see the Ember Moons. We need to see Asuka. We need to see those guys come down and try to challenge Shayna Baszler for the belt. Because right now, she is untouchable. untouchable. And that is what makes me so excited. Now on to the last two matches that we had this year. One of them was Birch and Lorcan versus Everrise, which is Matt Martell and Chase Parker's new name. This was a good match. This kind of established both teams. It was a great match, like I said before, and I really feel like these two are kind of the ones that, if anyone's going to be able to take down anybody in that tag team division in NXT that's pretty weak right now, I feel like these guys are going to be the ones, Birch and Lorcan, who took the dub. It was a very, 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 very by-the-books match, and I really, really liked it. So, beautiful match, and I really don't have much else to say about it. I mean, the people who won, I expected them to win. I expected Lorcan to win, but yeah, it was just a great match. Nothing to complain about there. And then up next, we had Cameron Grimes versus Raul Mendoza. I really feel like Grimes kind of needs a push, a really good push, because I feel like he's ready. From this match, I can kind of see it, but I really feel like he is one of the best in NXT, Cameron Grimes is. And I really feel like he is a talent of the future, and he needs to be pushed to the stars on NXT. Maybe not right now because we're having that whole undisputed thing, but I really think that Cameron Grimes in the coming years, maybe coming months, really needs to have that nice push that he needs. I also think that Raul Mendoza had the best match on NXT he's ever had in his life. Because I really feel like that was a fantastic match that he had versus Grimes, and I really feel like he's going to end up being another talent that's going to do really good in the future. Of course, he needs a couple more matches under his belt, a couple of really good matches under his belt, but I feel like this was a great match from both guys. And then the last match we had of the night was Kushida and Breezango versus Imperium without Walter. This was a great match. I'm a big fan of Breezango since they've gone back down, especially Tyler Breeze since he's gone back down to NXT, because before Breezango really wasn't able to shine that much up here in WWE. They had that great little like cold case looking thing. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but I really feel like Breezango has been able to fill in their shoes now that they've kind of gone down to NXT once again, and I really feel like it was a great match. Imperium is an amazing faction. I really feel like Walter is extremely high class, and I'm very excited for his future. And I think that Breeze, like I said, also looked amazing in this match, and this was just a tremendous way to end this night as the main event. Do I think that maybe Riddle and Dane would have been a better final match of the night, a final main event? Yeah, but they were the main event for USA. I really feel like this was just a good whole ending to the show on the WWE Network. But last but not least, we have our WWE Tuesday Night SmackDown Live, the last one in history. How did it go? Well, the first match, if it was a testament to the whole night, was freaking amazing as Rowan takes on Bryan. Man, Bryan is so good at turning a crowd with the snap of a finger. So good. Think about that. Daniel Bryan did an amazing job turning that crowd like that. There's nobody in the WWE that can do it better. 3 weeks ago, everyone was booing him. Booing Rowan. Now, he comes out, yes from the audience. That shows how great of a talent Daniel Bryan is. And I'll tell you what, with Daniel Bryan's amazing promo cutting and his ability to turn an audience, he has made Rowan the heel that he is. And Rowan did a fantastic job on the mic this week, talking about how he has always lived in Daniel Bryan's shadow and how they were never friends and all of this stuff. And I think it was amazing. I feel like Bryan is able to turn somebody who's maybe not so great on the mic or in the ring into somebody who is amazing on the mic and on the ring. And I think that that is a testament to just how good he really is. You know? Because I feel like Bryan is fantastic. And this match that he had with Rowan was amazing. And I really liked what they're doing with the storyline now. This just adds a whole new layer to it. It was getting a little stale Whenever it was just, well, I didn't do it. Well, I didn't do it. Well, I didn't do it. Oh, look, it was my twin. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But now, with Bryan coming into a face position, him obviously going against Rowan, this is amazing. The next thing we had was a sit-down interview with Cole with Kofi Kingston about his match against Brock Lesnar this week. And, I really feel like this did what it needed to do. It didn't make me any more excited for this match because I'm already extremely excited for this match. But I really feel like this did what it needed to do. It was a sit-down interview. There's not really much else to say about it. I think Kingston was kind of a little too confident, a little too comfortable to, know he's going toe-to-toe with the beast Brock Lesnar, the guy that ended the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. But, it's fine. It's whatever. I think Kingston did what he needed to do in this interview. And I feel like Kingston is just a solid champion. I do feel like he's going down to Brock, though, and I feel like that's kind of needed because Kofi's character has kind of gotten a little stale. Like, the underdog story was good for a long time, but it's been months and months and months since that underdog story even mattered. So, next up we had Gable versus Kanellis, squash match, but it's whatever. It was just a Gable and Kanellis squash match. But Elias had a cool little song at the end for Gable, so that was good. I'm glad that Elias is kind of getting back. And I think that Gable being able to feud with Baron Corbin, which is one of the best heels that WWE has right now, and now Elias, who's another great on-air talent. I'm very excited to see them start to build Gable more as a huge fighting man that's ready to fight champions and be that kind of traditional champion that we have in the WWE. But the next match we had was Sasha and Bayley versus Charlotte and Carmella. I mean, this was a fine match. They turned off the 24/7 rule since Carmella still had the belt and everyone chased Carmella out after the match was over. But, I really just felt like this match was fine. It wasn't my favorite of the night. It wasn't my least favorite of the night. But it felt a little rushed. But at the very end, I loved the Becky Russian. Because that's set up for the match, of course, we're going to get with the Four Horsewomen. With Charlotte and Becky taking on Sasha and Bayley. I feel like that's going to be such a good match. And I know I already kind of said that earlier on in the show, but I really feel like that's going to be a fantastic time. And anytime we get to see the Four Horsewomen on TV in the same shot, I mean, that's just, it's gold. So I really like the ending to that match. The match itself was okay, but at the end of the day, the ending was what really sold it for me. The next match was Nakamura versus Ali. I mean, these guys always put on a show. We've seen that pretty much every time they've ever wrestled 3 or 4 times now. And while I was kind of sad that Ali didn't win against Nakamura, this was still an amazing match. These two have such good chemistry, and I'd love to see them go at it again and again and again and again and again. But, I mean, there's few people that can really push Nakamura. Because Nakamura is a fantastic wrestler. Fantastic. But at the end of the day, he needs somebody to push him so that he can perform even better than he's comfortable with. Because I think Nakamura is one of those people that gets into a position where he's comfortable in the ring. And he'll kind of maybe not sell as good as he needs to, or maybe he'll not be in the right place at the right time, or he might not put as much energy into it. But having someone like Ali, who is so good, that can elevate Shinsuke's performance is amazing. And I absolutely love that about these two's chemistry. Because Ali can push Nakamura. And in turn, that makes Nakamura try harder, sell better, and leads to a 5-star match. So these two always put on a show, and I'd love to see some more guys that can kind of push Nakamura just like Ali. The next match was probably my least favorite night. It was the New Day versus the B-Team. It was absolutely stupid. I have no idea why this match even existed. We know the New Day's good. No one needed to tell us that. We know they're good. So why'd you have to bring them out here and squash the B-Team? There was no reason for this. It was just a squash match. And I wasn't a big fan, but of course that's just for the draft stock for next week. Then we had the Kabuki Warriors versus Fire Desire. This was sloppy, but I really like Kabuki Warriors, so I'm just glad they were able to get the win against Fire and Desire, which I'm guessing puts them right at the tail to be able to challenge Bailey and Sasha whenever they end up obviously winning the belts sometime in the near future. So I'm very excited to see that Kabuki is going to get the chance to fight against Sasha and Bailey. I don't think they'll win, but I feel like it's going to be some good matches because I really like the Kabuki Warriors. And the last one, I already talked about this one a little bit, but it was, of course, Shane and Kevin Owens putting their careers on the line for this ladder match. And I feel like that's going to be a great match. We've seen these two do some insane matches before, and I have no doubt that this one is going to be just as insane as usual. And I'm very, very excited to get to this, man. I feel like this is going to be a great time, and I'm super, super excited to see this match on Friday. So that's going to do it for my review of all of the shows that have happened over the last week. Next week, it will be a lot longer because we'll have 2 more shows to talk about, which means that we will probably not have that much time for theories, but after that's over, we won't have too many theories to talk about because it would be after the first week of all the shows, or maybe we'll have a ton to talk about. Who knows what's going to go down, but yeah, that's all my reviews for last week's show. I feel like the best show last week was NXT. Then I feel like it was Monday Night Raw and then SmackDown. Although I did love all 3 shows last week. I think they had strong shows to end the season, and I'm very excited to see this new season come out here. And the first thing that I kind of want to talk about when it comes to theories is one that I'm going to spend a long time on. And I'm only going to spend a long time on this one, simply because of the fact that I am very, very passionate about this theory. Because I feel like if this is true, then it could be one of the coolest things that WWE has ever done. And this goes around one Mr. Bray Wyatt. And this theory that goes with the Fiend is about his 2 gloves. He has the Hurt Glove and he has the Heel Glove. And the big thing about this theory, for me, is whenever Bray is on Twitter and he's saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. Hey, is the invitation to join the Shield still open? I'm so sorry, Kane. At The Rock, I apologize." Him going through and apologizing to all these people, Bray, because of what the Fiend has done, leads me to those gloves. And it was something I thought about a couple months ago that I never really thought could be an actuality until I started thinking about everything that was going on. We saw in that match against Finn, Bray's hands cup and go over his ears as he fought with the emotions that were written on those gloves, the hurt, the heel. And you know what? Maybe at the end of the day, the only thing that can stop the Fiend is that heel glove. How insane would that be? If Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, if his only weakness was his glove, then who's going to exploit that weakness? Bray Wyatt. The Fiend is all about that hurt glove. We know that. We know he's all about the hurt glove. He puts the mandible claw in people with that hurt glove. That hurt glove always wins whenever he has that battle. But what happens if the heel glove wins? Does he go over and help the person up? Does he give him a nice kiss on the cheek? Does he lay down on the mat? What happens if that heel glove wins? We may know this weekend, we may never know. But think about that. The only weakness that we can find in Bray Wyatt, the only one, is himself. That would be insane. If the only way that Bray Wyatt can be stopped is by letting that heel glove take over, then we've got another thing coming. And I really feel like Bray Wyatt has the chance to be the single best thing on WWE television if we figure out this thing. Because no one else can exploit this. To that, you'd have to make Bray's head think in Bray Wyatt and not in The Fiend, and put that heel glove up to his ear. The only weakness The Fiend has is himself, if this is true. And because of this, I think The Fiend is going to be champion for a long time. A long, long time. And that makes me so excited. Because I love The Fiend so much, and I would hate to see anything happen with WWE in doing that. So yeah, that's my Bray Wyatt theory. I really feel like that hurt and heel glove really has the chance to be something brand new that we've never seen in WWE before. And if you look, I actually just thought about this while I was talking about it, which is why I paused for so long during one of those. You look at what Bray Wyatt does whenever he puts in the mandible claw into somebody. The hurt glove is in their mouth. And where's the heel glove? On his wrist. What if that hurt glove is doing the work and that heel glove is trying to pull him out? That just added a whole new depth onto that move. If you know that, if you find out that all you have to do to beat Bray Wyatt is to force him upon himself and to play the reverse mind games, does Bray become touchable? Maybe. Maybe a little bit. But I can tell you right now that Bray Wyatt is going to be champion for a long time after he wins this belt at Hell in a Cell. No matter if it's against Seth Rollins or it's against Rey Mysterio, which it'll definitely be against Seth Rollins. I just really feel like there's no way you can take the belt off of him. And so the next thing that we're going to kind of talk about is another kind of prediction on my part. And that is speculation about the draft. This is, of course, happening next week. The draft is. It's going to be a complete redraft. So where do I think some of these great superstars are going to end up? I think you keep AJ Styles on Raw. I feel like this might be a little bit of a controversial pick, but I think that you keep him on Raw unless you take the belt off of him. I think you keep him on Raw because I feel like AJ Styles needs to stay on Raw because you need to have those good people on Raw as well as on SmackDown. And that being said, I feel like Seth Rollins goes to SmackDown. I feel like that could be a pretty big jump for Seth, but I feel like if he's going to lose the belt this weekend, then he needs a fresh start and going over to where some of these guys are on SmackDown. Of course, somebody new probably going to have the belt, that being Brock Lesnar over there on SmackDown. Would be really interesting to see Seth go for, maybe him teaming with Roman Reigns again. I'd really like to see Daniel Bryan come over to Raw. I feel like that would be a fantastic choice on WWE's part because I feel like Daniel Bryan kind of needs a new start somewhere. I feel like he's having this great run right now with Reigns and Rowan and Harper, but I feel like that'll be ended by Sunday. I really do. I feel like that match is going to be the last one that we have, and it's going to be that tag team match, and I feel like they can kind of start new beginnings, and I feel like Bryan needs to go to Raw because it's been a long time since he's been over there on the Red brand. I feel like whenever it comes to the tag team division, I really feel like the Usos are probably going to go to SmackDown. I feel like Heavy Machinery is going to come to Raw. I feel like the OC is going to go wherever AJ Styles goes. I feel like the New Day is probably going to be separated. Not like Xavier and Big E, but I think Kofi is going to be separated from the rest of the New Day. And I think Kofi will stay on SmackDown. The rest of the New Day will go to Raw. I feel like AOP will probably go to SmackDown. I feel like The Revival will probably stay on SmackDown. I feel like Randy Orton will probably stay on SmackDown. I feel like we'll kind of see some newer faces kind of pop up, some ones that maybe we forgot about, go down to NXT. Maybe some faces come up from NXT. Maybe we finally see the Street Profits get put on a roster here in Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, or maybe we see them stay with NXT, which would be awesome to see as well. But I'm really excited to see all these things that are going on with the draft, because I think the draft is going to be just a fantastic time in general. And I remember watching the first draft from whenever I was little. Not the very first draft, but one of the first drafts. And just me being on the edge of my seat that whole time was just absolutely insane. And I'm really excited for it. I really do think that it will be a great time. And this draft is going to be very, very important. I think if we don't see John Morrison come back this week to AEW or WWE, he will definitely show up for the draft. I feel like that's going to happen to a lot of stars. I feel like a lot of people that maybe we don't know have signed with WWE have signed with them. And I feel like they're going to show up during the draft. Maybe like surprise people and be like, yo, I'm on the brand. Maybe like that latest rumor about CM Punk that seems to be going around every other month. I hate to bring that up, but like, there's always a possibility. Said that he interviewed for WWE's FS1 show. So we'll see what happens. I really feel like this is going to be a very interesting time for professional wrestling. I think the draft is what WWE needs to do, because I feel like you need to stop having those big names that are appearing on both shows. You need to have those big names that appear on both shows, but only on those two shows. Because the guys that we have, like Roman Reigns and most of these tag teams, are going, oh, I'm on SmackDown one night, but you know what? I think I'm going to go to Raw. The Revival lost the Raw Tag Team Championships and then went directly over to SmackDown and won them there. Like, that's what's been happening over the last couple of weeks. I don't think that Bray Wyatt moves from Raw, because I feel like you're going to have Lesnar on SmackDown, obviously, after he wins this belt from Kofi. And I don't feel like you can take The Fiend from Raw right now. I feel like he needs to be the face of that brand. Because if you put The Fiend on SmackDown with Brock, that's going to be a big ego thing. And I feel like they have to keep The Fiend on Raw. No matter how much Fox wants Bray, because I feel like everyone would want Bray right now. I feel like AEW wants Bray. I feel like TNA wants Bray. ROH wants Bray. NJPW wants Bray. But right now, I feel like USA needs to keep their locks on Bray, because I feel like they know that is the big thing. He was, of course, on their Sunday Night Football ad, which scared the ever-living dog crap out of me while I was watching the Cowboys play last night. I was sitting in my room and I saw a Raw promo. I was like, oh, sweet, Raw, yeah, the new season. And Bray pops up at the end. I'm like, oh, God. But, like, you know, I really feel like Bray did a fantastic job, and he did just what he needed to do. And I'm very excited about this draft. I'm excited to see where everyone ends up going. Then we kind of run to the Wednesday Night Wars. Who do I think has the edge? If we're talking in a few months, I think AEW is probably going to have the edge, because that'll be their one show that they do a week. But right now, I feel like NXT definitely has the edge whenever it comes to the Wednesday Night Wars, at least with the common wrestling fan. I just feel like they kind of have the edge right now. And I'm a really big fan of what WWE has been able to do with NXT since they kind of started. And I really like pretty much everything that's been going on for NXT. And, you know, I really feel like them with their own people now, and kind of with their own time on USA and all that stuff, I feel like they've been able to kind of branch out into something brand new. And I feel like that makes me extremely happy whenever I think about that. Because I feel like all of these people are doing a fantastic job on NXT. No matter who's running it, everybody behind the scenes, all the wrestlers are doing a fantastic job. And I really feel like that is the thing that matters the most. You know? And I actually just got a notification on my phone while I'm in the middle of talking about this, is that WWE confirms that 205 Live is moving to Friday night after SmackDown. So 205 Live will stay after SmackDown, not be on Tuesday nights anymore. It will be on Friday night SmackDown, which is pretty awesome. So it actually looks like while we've been here doing the show, there have been a ton more matches announced for NXT this Wednesday, with Johnny Gargano battling against Shane Thorne in a 1v1 match. Here we go. This is going to be the 2-hour premiere. All of these ones that we have on here so far, that being, of course, Matt Riddle challenging NXT champion Adam Cole this Wednesday. Candice LeRae going against Shayna Baszler for the championship match. The Street Profits are challenging the Undisputed Era for the tag team championships. Johnny Gargano, like I said, going one-on-one with Shane Thorne. And Velveteen Dream is coming to NXT on USA. There's no telling what he's going to have in store, but he will be back after losing the NXT North Championship. So that's awesome. We just got a few new matches that were posted about 45 minutes ago. So very excited to see those go on from WWE News. So NXT definitely looking like a fantastic program. And really cool that this was kind of coming up while we were talking about what NXT has to do to go against AEW. And I really feel like they've kind of done it. Putting Velveteen Dream on is a great idea. Johnny Gargano with Shane Thorne is going to be an amazing match. Having Shayna Baszler battle for her belt against LeRae, Candice LeRae, is going to be great. Velveteen Dream is amazing. And of course, we have the Matt Riddle versus Adam Cole match. And of course, Street Profits are going to have an amazing match too. Street Profits and the Undisputed Era. So I'm really excited to see all this stuff go down. NXT looking to be a great show this Wednesday. So it's really looking like everything's kind of folding together. It looks like SmackDown's going to be amazing, Raw's going to be amazing, NXT's going to be amazing, and AEW is going to be amazing. So I'm very excited to hear all this stuff. And so the last thing I kind of want to hit on here for my predictions is, how will SmackDown be on Friday nights? SmackDown was on Friday nights previously, but it was not live. And they're also on the brand new brand. And I think that WWE has done a great job advertising for Fox. But I really feel like these guys are going to do a fantastic job. But this is going to be an interesting time for SmackDown, because I feel like they have to build their viewers back up. Because you had that whole audience that was so dedicated on Tuesday nights. And now, all of a sudden, you're moving from that Tuesday several days down the road to be going on Friday. And you're not starting at 7 like you normally do, you're starting at 6:30. And that's kind of interesting for me. But I'm really, really excited for that show they've got going on after SmackDown on FS1 with Renee Young hosting. I feel like that is a great idea. It's obviously like Talking Smack, which I really, really appreciated and really, really liked. But I'm also very excited just for SmackDown as a whole. I feel like next week's going to be a great show with the new announce team, the old Raw announce team coming back for it. I really feel like this is just going to be a fantastic time. And I'm just going to kind of say it one more time here. And I really feel like I needed to punch this in, because right now it is a fantastic time to be a wrestling fan. And I know I've already said that a couple times, but it really is. There's no reason for you to be just a WWE fan or just an AEW fan. This is a great time to be a wrestling fan in general. And that is what is going to carry us all to victory. So this is going to be the time where I'm going to start taking calls and tweets if you guys have any. Of course, this will not be the end of me just talking over everything. I have a couple more things that I'd like to bring up, but calling and tweeting at me are going to be the best ways to reach me. That's, of course, going to be at my Twitter profile, which is at SQRDCircle. That's at SQRDCircle. Or you can call in here at 870-972-3819. That's 870-972-3819. So that's going to be very interesting. I'm very excited to hear from you guys. So don't forget, if you want to contact me, be sure to call, or you can tweet me at SQRDCircle. I'll have my notifications turned on, and I'm very, very excited for all of this. Another big thing that has kind of been pushed, and I'm extremely ready for this, is actually going to be WWE 2K20. I'm a huge fan of all the wrestling games, and right now they're showing off a ton of stuff. And by a ton of stuff, I mean a ton of stuff for this game, and it's looking to be amazing. I'm just having a really good time with everything WWE 2K related. I think the game looks beautiful. It looks pretty much the same as it did last year, but I think that's just kind of a testament to the graphics as they're able to pull off. But I really feel like their universe mode is going to be fantastic. It's going to give us more than we've had ever, which is super awesome. But I'm really excited for pretty much everything that comes whenever a new game does come out. And I really feel like WWE 2K20 is going to be one of the best in a while. I'm ready to see some stuff on their career mode because their career mode last year was so amazing and just an absolute great time. But yeah, I'm really excited just to kind of see everybody kind of doing in all this stuff. And I was really, really excited to see WWE 2K20 get its first gameplay trailer. Of course, they just did reveal the soundtrack just a few days ago, which is awesome. But yeah, I mean, this is just going to be a fantastic time. And yeah, I mean, this is just a great time to be a fan of wrestling. Whether it be with video games, whether it be with what we have, it's just a great time to be a fan. So right now, I kind of want to get in on these Raw predictions real quick. Because we didn't get to cover those before because I forgot because I'm an idiot. But we kind of touched on them. I kind of want to give you my my predictions for what's going to happen on this Raw coming tonight. We, of course, have Rollins versus Mysterio, which I've kind of talked about already. But I really feel like Rollins is going to be able to take the win on that one. I feel like there's no reason why Rollins shouldn't take the win on that one. I feel like he's 100% going to take the win on that one. Then, of course, we have Bliss versus Banks. I feel like this is just going to push that feud that we're going to end up having where Sasha and Bayley go after the tag team championships even further. And that's going to be their big thing, is just being able to push these divas beyond their boundaries. And I really feel like that is a Banks win 1,000,000%, just because I feel like they can't show Banks losing right before she goes into a huge match for the championship. I don't see her losing that match under any circumstance. Maybe a year ago? Maybe. But right now, no chance in the world. Then we have Styles versus Alexander. I feel like this is going to be a great match. I feel like these two always put on a good match. I feel like AJ Styles always puts on a good match in general. But I really feel like this is going to be a good time, and it's going to be very, very exciting. But I would really, really like to see a surprise here. Maybe seeing AJ Styles get taken down by Cedric Alexander. And I know that's a lot, but then having them face a Hell in a Cell and maybe AJ winning it back, maybe not. But I really do want to see something crazy go down in this match. Maybe the OC get involved. Maybe Cedric Alexander get some people involved. I'd just really like to see those guys come out again. This Monday night, we also have a confirmed appearance for Brock Lesnar, which I think is really interesting, considering that he's going to be fighting on SmackDown. But maybe this is going to be the last time that Brock Lesnar is going to be on Raw for a long while. But yeah, this is just going to be a very interesting match, and I'm very excited to see what happens here. I'm really excited to see what happens with Lesnar, because I feel like he's just going to come out and kind of bash Raw, and then that'll kind of be it. But I feel like that's going to be a great time, man. I feel like Bray is probably going to come out and attack somebody in that Rollins and Mysterio match. I have a feeling it'll probably be Mysterio. Like I said before, I feel like the only chance that Mysterio has to get something in this match is going to be mandible clawed in the face, and that's at about 100%. So I really don't feel like Mysterio is going to be able to get anything other than that. But yeah, it's been an amazing time, and I really feel like this next Raw is going to be a fantastic, fantastic job, just because they know what they're up against. And then last but not least, we have Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler versus Heavy Machinery. And this is probably the match that confuses me the most. I don't think you take the belts off of Rude and Ziggler yet. I feel like they're a great team, and they were just two guys that you were underutilizing, and now they're finally getting their way. And I really like these two. I feel like Rude and Ziggler are both fantastic wrestlers that have both made it very, very far in this company, and I'm very excited to kind of bring everything together in the coming weeks. But don't forget, if you want to tweet at me, it's at SQRDCircle. And if you want to call in, it's 870-972-3819. Once again, that's 870-972-3819. But other than that, it's cool to see that 205 Live is moving to Fridays after SmackDown staying in that same slot that they were at before. That happened literally right as soon as we started the show. I'm just now checking out some more stuff here on WWE, and I really feel like this is going to be a great time. I'm going to go ahead and check the Raw preview to make sure I didn't do anything. Also, there's going to be an NXT pre-show on the on WWE Network, which is going to be extremely interesting, and I'm super excited to hear that and see that as well. There's actually another new thing coming on to Raw, and that's going to be Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair guest starring on Miz TV tonight. That's Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan guest starring on Miz TV. So maybe if we don't see Mysterio get mandible clawed, we'll see one of these two get mandible clawed instead, which I think would be pretty funny. I don't know if that's going to happen necessarily. I feel like somebody's going to come out on the Miz and probably beat him out. But I really feel like that's going to be that's going to be quite a funny segment with Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. A good way to draw people in, get those older guys in, get those ones that kind of know what they're doing. But once again, I really feel like Otis and Tucker of Heavy Machinery are kind of an odd person to put against Rude and Ziggler. I feel like maybe they shouldn't have done that because Heavy Machinery has been pushed so hard on SmackDown and not on Raw. But I really feel like that was just a fantastic time on that. Total Divas also does premiere this Tuesday, which is interesting. And I really feel like they're going to do a great job with it. But I'm very, very excited for the Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens match. It's probably going to be one of my favorites of the week, just because I know that WWE is probably not going to get this one wrong, and they're going to let Kevin Owens take this win. And it's going to be a great time to get Shane McMahon off of television, which is going to be interesting. So there's been quite a lot of rumors lately for WWE and AEW, which is, of course, going to be one of the biggest to CM Punk coming back on the FS1 show, which would be really funny because it's actually not a WWE produced show. It is a Fox produced show, which I think is kind of funny. So Punk wouldn't ever have to do a contract with WWE or anything. But I would also like to see exactly what's going on with everything that WWE is going to be able to do in these coming days, especially if Punk ends up coming back. That's going to be crazy, and it's going to be a really fun time. But, I really feel like AEW really didn't get a chance for Punk to come back. He stated that no effort was actually made to try and sign him. But, I feel like something probably happened. I know Cody said that something about how they didn't text him, but they called him about an offer for AEW, which I thought was kind of interesting. But, at the same time, what's the best that can happen at this point? And I really like what WWE is going to be able to do this week. I really like what AEW is going to be able to do this week. And I really feel like it's going to be just a fantastic time. But I really feel like AEW is going to be able to do a fantastic job this week as well. I really do feel like this week, and Vince McMahon has said on Twitter, and I kind of forgot to talk about this earlier, but Vince McMahon said on television that this is going to be a great week for WWE. He posted off this graphic that had the times and all that stuff, where they were going to be on and stuff like that, and I really feel like this isn't going to just be something great for WWE. And I think Vince, of course, trying to do that stuff, trying to promote his own company and stuff like that. I agree, but this is going to be just a great weekend in wrestling culture, and I think that's what makes me the most excited. And that being said, I would like to see some surprise people on SmackDown, on Raw, just be able to see these guys kind of come on. But I'd really like to see a couple great appearances from the SmackDown Live debut. I'd love to see John Cena on the show just because I feel like he kind of made SmackDown. But I really feel like he debuted as a member in 2002 against Kurt Angle. And he's always kind of been somebody on the blue brand. I don't think he's going to go and be in the ring, but I feel like he is very likely to maybe just kind of come up and do a promo, do a couple stuff about like how great it is to see them. I feel like him and Kurt Angle could have something really funny kind of go on SmackDown. But, at the end of the day, I feel like, if anything, we'll probably see John Cena there. I'd also really, really like to see The Rock. Probably not going to happen, but I'd really like to see Dwayne Johnson. That'd be really interesting if he kind of showed up for that, though. I feel like another interesting surprise would be, like I said at the beginning, John Morrison. I think that would be awesome considering that he was a huge person on the Blue brand. He called SmackDown his home. Now that I'm reading from 2009 to 2012, which is awesome. I just looked that up for how long he'd been here on SmackDown. And it's very interesting to see John Morrison kind of get on this whole thing with WWE maybe coming to SmackDown, because I feel like that would be awesome, and it would be a beautiful example of what SmackDown truthfully is, and putting somebody like Morrison, who's a well-known SmackDown superstar, someone who won a world championship, mini intercontinental championship, stuff like that. I really feel like he'd make a great addition. Another guy who I'd love to see on SmackDown is Sheamus. We haven't seen Sheamus in months. He's been injured for a very, very long time. They thought it was career ending, but I do know that he is okay now, which is awesome. We don't know if he's completely cleared, but from what we've heard, he has been, getting along with his neck injury extremely well. Rehabbing his neck injury amazingly. And I think it'd be really awesome to see him come, maybe not go with the Bar with Cesaro, even though I feel like that was always a really dependable tag team that you kind of rock and roll there. But, we'll see what happens. But I'm very excited to kind of see all the stuff kind of go down with someone like Sheamus. I feel like he's a fantastic wrestler. I feel like he's one of the best that's ever been in the WWE, if I'm going to be honest. And I'd really like to see Sheamus come in on this anniversary of SmackDown as they're going over to Fox to kind of bring in this new season. But we'll see what happens. I think Sheamus is likely, considering where he's out in his rehab and all that stuff, but you can never count anything too early, so I'd really like to see Sheamus come out. But other than that, I really feel like maybe somebody that's coming back from injury, maybe a Finn Balor, maybe an AOP, maybe a Drew McIntyre, maybe a somebody like that, that would kind of surprise you, would be pretty awesome. But really the only person who I'd want on SmackDown is going to be the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But some people who I think should appear on Raw, I don't really know for sure. I really feel like Raw's doing pretty much their best that they can. Getting these guys like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair on. I think Vince McMahon would be interesting to see on Raw, but I think he'll be on all three shows, if I'm going to be honest, this week. Maybe not NXT. I think definitely Hunter will be on NXT. But I really feel like these guys will for sure be there on Raw. I think Vince McMahon is guaranteed to come out on SmackDown and Raw, which is kind of interesting. But I mean, I think he kind of has to kind of bring in this huge wrestling week. kind of like how I think the cons will definitely come out for AEW in that line of people. So it'll be really interesting to sign. A couple hours ago, it seems as though women's champion Sasha Banks, or former women's champion Sasha Banks, has signed a new deal with the company, which is kind of weird because Banks really didn't want to sign that deal, but something must have gone good in a creative meeting or something, and Sasha Banks has re-signed with WWE. I would love to see Ronda Rousey come back on Monday Night Raw this week. I really feel like that would be extremely interesting. And I really, really like Ronda Rousey, but I really think it's her time to come back. I also do know that Nia Jax is also roading with the team this week. She's been posting a bunch of stuff with the rest of the WWE Divas that could also be just promoting, of course, the new Total Divas premiere, which she's going to be on. So is Ronda Rousey. But I would really like to see those guys do it. And it's going to be a great time, man. It's going to be a great time. I'm really excited for AEW, though. We really haven't talked too much on AEW, but they've kind of revealed their opening videos, their intros, all that stuff, and it's looking good, man. I remember whenever I first watched All In, I was like, oh my god, what in the world? Why in the Lord's name are they doing this for their intro for the pay-per-view? But it has only gotten better from there. I'm a really big fan of everything that AEW has been able to do. The production value has been amazing so far in the last couple ones. So apparently AEW also has a DC Comics premiere and all that stuff, which is kind of funny because I feel like that's hilarious. I know that the two that have really been kind of thrown out there for those is Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley being thrown out into comic world. And if you haven't seen that yet, then you definitely need to go take a peek because that's going to be awesome. I'm really excited to kind of see what everything's going on here. But I really feel like whatever happens here is going to be beautiful. And that's just kind of like all these people who I think are going to be amazing people on AEW that haven't been confirmed for matches yet, but that I think will definitely end up fighting here. And those are, I feel like, Brandy Rhodes is definitely going to end up fighting, even though she's not in a match quite yet. Britt Baker is obviously going to. Kong is going to end up being in a match. All these different people that we saw in these pay-per-views are probably going to be in matches. And I'm really excited to see all this stuff go down. I'm a really big fan of everything AEW has to offer so far, and I really feel like they've been able to do a fantastic job selling everything. And as we go into the last 10 minutes here, I kind of want to reflect on everything that we've really talked about today. And those things include, man, I just want to go back and I want to talk about just some of these things that we talked about earlier on in the show about these news things and just kind of go back and talk about Pyro being back, because I feel like that is one of the single biggest announcements that we have in the world right now, because Pyro coming back to WWE is beautiful. And I feel like I saw a wonderful GIF, a wonderful like little meme type thing on Twitter the other day. And it was of the old North Carolina coach walking into the room, like doing like the little shimmy thing as he walks into the room, and it says the WWE Pyro guy whenever he gets the news that Pyro's back, and it's just him walking in doing like the little shimmy, and all the players like jumping up around him. And I feel like that is a huge kind of thing. It's definitely going to happen, but I really feel like this is going to be a great time for WWE and AEW, and this is where I'm going to kind of branch off and give you what I think the best shows are going to be this week. And this is going to be a little bit of an interesting turn of events here, because I'm going to kind of tell you exactly who I think is going to have the best show, who's going to have the worst show, and which show is just going to kind of be in the middle. I think that the best show in order this week is going to be SmackDown number 1, AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite number 2. NXT number 3, and Raw at the bottom. I don't think that there's any specific reason why, but I just feel like SmackDown is going to do a great job. I feel like they're going to bring back a lot of people, a lot of legends. I feel like The Undertaker will probably be back. I feel like Bray Wyatt may attack The Undertaker, which would be awesome. But I feel like SmackDown is going to be the best show by far next week, just because of all the matches that they already have announced with the 4 Horsewomen, with Kingston taking on Lesnar, with all of these guys going in and fighting in these matches. I feel like it's definitely going to be the best whole show. And then I think AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite is going to be up next. I really like everything AEW has to offer. I think that match with Jericho and Omega and the Young Bucks has the probability to be the best match we've seen in wrestling television over the last few months. But I really don't think that AEW is going to be the best show because we don't really know anybody except for the top people. You know? Like, if you're just a regular wrestling fan, like me, like anybody that just goes to wrestling for fun, you're not going to know half of these people that are on AEW's roster. So I feel like, even though AEW may have the better wrestling, we are not going to be established with those characters as much as we would be if it were with, let's say, WWE. I'd much rather watch a show that I know everybody on, that I know legends are going to be at. I'd rather watch a show with Brock Lesnar and Kofi Kingston, with mid-carders that I know, R-Truth, Drake Maverick, see the Street Profits, see all these guys that I know, rather than go into AEW blind and not know anything about these people. And that's just a testament to what my notes look like. I put a video of my notes on Twitter, and I have, for the confirmed card for my predictions, whenever I have the Raw confirmed card, I just write down the matches. But whenever I put AEW, I put other things with it. Because I knew that I didn't know nearly as much about AEW as I do with WWE. And I think that's going to be the testament for AEW. I don't think you can expect to look at the viewing numbers of AEW confirmed or versus NXT, which had 1.6 million people watching this week. I don't think you can compare those. I think currently that a good night for AEW will be 400, 500,000. If even that. I don't think AEW is going to come out of nowhere and just break the streets, break the bank. Because there are a whole bunch of these people out there, a whole bunch of these WWE fans that don't even know that TNA exists. Don't know ROH exists. Don't know AEW exists. And I think that's one of the funniest things about it all. Is that people are expecting AEW to have this monster run. And I think AEW is going to be amazing. But at the end of the day, I don't think AEW is going to be able to compete with WWE numbers after the first week. Even if it has the best show by far, and I was completely wrong about SmackDown being the best show, even if it has the best show by far, there is no way that AEW is going to get more views than Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. Because people just don't know them. And I've been watching TNT almost every day, and I haven't even seen that many promos for it. Because right now, WWE is winning the wrestlers battle, they're winning the promo battle, and they're winning the advertising battle. Right now, the thing that AEW has going for them is they are new. They are something that can challenge the WWE. And I think that's great. And you know, I really like everything that AEW has been able to do, and I really feel like they're going to give a great show. but I do feel like they are not going to be the best show next week. I had a difficult time even putting AEW over NXT. Because after reading those matches that are getting put on NXT is going to be an amazing show. That is a takeover level show. Guaranteed. But we'll see how that goes. And I just want to thank all of you guys for tuning in here to the first ever episode of The Squared Circle. Man, it was a great time. I loved every last second of it. It was a great conversation, man, and I'm just ready to kind of get in next week to the rest of this week because I mean this week is going to be an amazing week. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. We're gonna hopefully be talking about Bray Wyatt becoming the new Universal Champion, fingers crossed, and so much more. And I'm very excited to kind of talk about all of this stuff with all of you guys. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to come. I hope you guys did enjoy the first ever episode. I apologize if I was speaking a little too fast or if I slurred some of my words a little bit. Big nervous today, but we were able to get over it, and it was extremely exciting. I'm so glad that I was able to come in and talk with all of you guys today, and I know that we're going to have a fantastic next couple of months with all of us working here together. Remember to follow me on Twitter at SQRDCircle. That's at SQRDCircled. And I'm very excited to see everything that's going on, man. And I know for a fact that it's going to be a great time tonight with Monday Night Raw. And I already do know that AEW is going to do a fantastic job on Wednesday, and NXT is going to do a fantastic job on Wednesday. So without further ado, guys, I'm so glad that you all enjoyed our time here with us today. And if you want to find the replay of this, it will be posted on my YouTube channel at TheSquaredCircle on YouTube. It will be posted there. I will tweet out whenever it is posted, and I will let you guys know. So without further ado, I thank you guys for joining me today, and that's going to do it for The Squared Circle Show. I'm Jordan Moore. Have a great day, everybody.